better.
This is
a little higher.
That's all right.
Isn't
Listen,
that cool?
I'll sacrifice the height difference for the comfortability. This is pretty amazing. This is actually coming home. Where did he go? Where did Ty go? I was gonna say this is coming home. It's coming home with me. Actually, this thing right
you
here.
You guys are gonna battle it out after this.
I like this
How
thing.
About that?
Yeah.
I'll just go. But anyway, so let's welcome John D'Amato. He is the main responsible. Can I use this?
I didn't write that book, but you can more than welcome to use it.
But the photo.
Yes.
Yes. John shot this photo for Pierre.
Yes.
Pierre was one of our guests in the past, I think back in April. She did a phenomenal job, and I just wanted to show you guys. That's one of John's many work. So why don't we get started by just asking you some easy questions.
Please, I like easy.
Really hideous and hard. No, but please just share what you do and why different and what you don't do. Really. I think we talked about that a little bit, that we need to focus on things that maybe you don't do.
Right.
That can be equally important.
Well, we'll start with what I do first.
Of course. Yeah,
Let's start there.
Yep.
So, hello everyone. I'm John. I'm a branded lifestyle portrait photographer, and I work with thought leaders, authors, speakers, high-level entrepreneurs, startups such as yourself, basically people who are their brand and they need to promote themselves through social media, and they need image content for their social posts, and they also need content for all of their business endeavors, be it landing pages or sales pages or Facebook ads or things of that nature. But the gist of it is that we create an image library, a high volume image library that is versatile and diverse because it represents different aspects of who you are, who you serve, why you do, what your personality is about, and it just gives a glimpse into your life as your brand to your followers. And through those images, you're able to punctuate the stories about your business with those images. That's pretty much the gist.
And what you don't do as a photographer?
Well, I don't shoot crappy photos, so we'll start there.
Go on. Love it.
Aside from that, I am not a social media strategist. I am not someone that'll come in and figure out how you're going to get the amount of likes from the right amounts of people that you're looking for. I don't do that. I help you craft the stories that you then use as a vehicle to then attract the types of people that you want. I don't know the algorithms. I don't know all that shit. I have no idea. I'm trying to figure it out along the way, along with all of you as well, in order to put yourself in front of those people that will eventually pay you to do what you do best.
But don't you think that, this is my sentiment. I don't know if you guys share the same sentiment or not, but I wanted to ask you this question though. I think a lot of people are too obsessed over tactics.
Yeah.
So when we talk about social media likes and all those things, but those are tactical things. Those things are not strategic per se. Maybe some of them might be, but if you start from there, I think it's a bit backwards.
And that right there is the problem. The challenge that many people encounter is that they get caught up in all of these, I'm gonna go get 10,000 people to follow me, but I don't care who they are or if they're gonna pay attention to what I do or that they're even interested in my service. I just want the numbers. And people get caught up in that. Easily, and then they become distracted by it, and then on top of the distraction, they become overwhelmed, and they're like, "Screw it, I don't want to do this anymore. This doesn't work."
For no reason.
Yes.
But
I was that person. I was that person.
I've been there too.
I have been that person.
And I'm not trying to be liked, really, but at times there are days of nothing, right?
Absolutely.
There are days of nothing. Like even though you put your work through, sometimes there are no replies in your inbox, there are no comments over social media. You have to manage your mental state through those days. And sometimes I go
Absolutely. And you know how you do that? You do that by creating content. And that is the secret. The secret is create content that speaks to the people that you want to help the most. And that's it. And that takes up a lot of time. You won't be sitting around not doing nothing. I write 13 blogs a month. I post every single day to every social media outlet. I'm coming up with stuff all the time. It keeps me super busy. And then I have certain amount of time that I dedicate to outreach and research and finding who are the people that need me the most. Because at the end of the day, you know, whatever you guys do is all well and good, but if no one knows who the hell you are or what you do, it's a complete waste of time. And it's your responsibility to get out there and to be seen by these people, no one else. And these, you know, get the likes and get the this, and I'm gonna do this funnel and all this other crap that really, at the end of the day, is garbage because it ties up you from doing what's most important, which is creating that thought leadership about what you do, what makes you special, what makes people want to flock to you because you solve their problems, and you're doing all this other nonsense. If you X that out, and then we're really talking about the stories, and you're giving people something that you endear yourselves to them, and they're gonna follow you, and they're gonna wanna work with you because you're the only answer for them when you position yourself in a way that is unique to who you are and what your brand is. And that's the important part.
Right. So, you know, you write.
Every day.
Right?
Every damn day.
And I think it's a good segue to talk more about, I think, visual effect. Why should we care? Because that's what you do. You know, you are the provider of
Right.
the visual aid, so to speak. Well, I guess there are other terms to say that, but the visual impact. And, you know, why should we? Well, we know this in our head, though. I think all of us probably
Right.
why it matters, but I think it is important to hear from someone like you to say, why should we care?
Well, first of all, I want to clarify something. You said visual aid. It's not an aid, it's a punctuation. Because what the visual does is it pairs itself with the stories, the captions, say you have an image where you put some of your thought leadership, whatever it is, or your something informative, inspiring, compelling, interesting to your people. It punctuates that message. It punctuates that thought leadership, your brand. And what the images do is it draws people in through your expression, through the composition of the image, through the way that the lighting is, the mood of the image, the mood. That's why I refer to the image libraries I give my clients. They're mood libraries. They're meant to represent. Because listen, when you're all business owners, so you know how this can suck very quick, very often. So we go from a very, you know, the struggle to the this is what I do, this is my thought leadership, to these are my wins in my business, in my life. And we want to share all of those things. And you share them through the words that you write, through the captions. But it's also punctuated through the images. And that's what really gets people, because that's what will stop someone through a feed. Like, oh shit, look at that.
I like that. I like the way that you actually said it's a punctuation. And,
Yes.
I haven't heard of that, actually. So, no, that's really
That's in my blog. All over it.
Right, no, that is.
It's important to see it that way because it establishes what the relationship actually is between the business owner, the brand, the stories, and the assets, the image assets and video. This counts for video as well. But it's really just about sitting back, assessing what is it that you want to tell about your brand, what's special about it, the different aspects, what are the pain points that we're solving. Those are the stories. That's the stuff that people care about. They don't care about, you know, just generic random, like, let me just throw some shit up there and it's like, this is great. Oh yeah, no, it's not. What it's doing is it's detracting from drawing in the right people. We're talking about numbers before. No, numbers are not important, but the followers and the advocacy of those people following you, that's important. Absolutely. Because those are the people that are going to get you work. Those are the people that care about you, and those are the people that are going to bring people into your funnel, so you're not like, oh geez, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do for March because no one's calling me. So that's what you do. You establish that level of content, and it allows people to know who you are and what you do.
Right.
Super important.
Let's talk a little bit about the consistency when it comes to anyone's visual strategy. What is your take on that? Either or a theme or whatever that might be. Like, for example, what I put out, just in general though, I'm involved with them, but there's no like obvious consistency in terms of visual images that I would have put out on, God knows, the Facebook, one of the platforms, website,
Right.
and other things. If you see them all, you might see a little bit of, this must be one of those, things that I might have done, but it's pretty subtle. It's not like, there's always like a black strip at the bottom, or there's always that the muted and the colored photo background with the business quote smacked in the middle. I mean, it's not that consistent. But
Right.
when it comes to consistency, what is your take on it? And when it comes to visual things,
In terms of the look?
Yeah.
It's important. Every client is different, though. I've worked with lawyers. I've worked with marketing professionals. I've worked all the way down to Excel instructors. That guy right over there.
Right, yeah.
It's such a diverse and interesting collection of people that I've worked with.
Right.
But there's one consistency, and it's that they all are interested in gaining more visibility with their image content and getting themselves out there. Now, as far as how does that look? Well, the one constant that everyone needs to have is to have images that are extremely expressive and create mood. As I mentioned that before. Mood and expression. We need to show their tribe, their followers, those people who are gonna possibly pay for them, to see a consistency in that. It's a consistency in their stories. It's not just like, they're gonna have stuff about their business one day and then it's like some random selfie that they took. So the visual is more about, it's in the themes of what they shoot rather than necessarily where they shoot, because I've shot people in places like this 1.5 million times. I've shot people in their houses, on their patios, I've been in hotel lobbies, but the one constant is mood from the images and a consistency in, well, I'd also say in the aesthetic of the shots, not to be, self-indulgent with what I do, but the reality is the way that I shoot these things is very candid and very fly on the wall, because you want to give the people that are at home watching this on their screen, on their phone, you want to give them that sense that they're right there. They're watching you. They're watching.
Wants to look at headshots, right? So I was going to get.
I shoot headshots too, so they're all right. Headshots are all right. They all serve a different purpose. They serve a different purpose.
I was going to say, but
absolutely.
If that's all you have, then it gets a little,
Oh, it's as boring as hell, and it's not what you want.
Yeah.
Those images serve a very specified purpose,
Sure.
And that's where I started. That's where it's between the headshots, my event photography, and my almost 20 years in television that has developed and nurtured this style that I now have. It's very fly on the wall, like I was saying. It's very just giving a glimpse and a peek into how you work, working on a computer. You're one-on-one consulting with a client. You're brainstorming, journaling, writing with your hands. You're thinking.
Right.
Like, those shots matter.
Yeah. Since I'm not a pro photographer, I think I can describe your work different ways. It's like a complete, like a third-party point of view. I think most of your shots capture some kind of a movement. So people, obviously, like, not in a fake way though. People giving speeches or just casually conversing, with a
Sure.
client or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's some kind of a movement that you're only like, you almost make it look like you happen to be there. and just took that capture.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's definitely different. And then I know that not many photographers do that. Some wedding photographers are a little bit. But I thought that makes it unique in terms of your work.
Right.
That's my way of sort of describing it. I might be off.
Works for me. That's exactly what it is. A lot of these branded photographers, and I do this in air quotes because I have issues. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful work out there. As a matter of fact, I just had a client last Wednesday. She came to me through a referral through someone else, and who I met through social media, by the way, doing all this crap I'm talking about. I practice what I preach.
Which one was it, Twitter or Instagram?
Facebook.
Oh.
This one was Facebook. And she had a beautiful gallery of images that presented her in a very lovely way. Except for the fact that A, she was fake smiling in every photo or kind of smiling in some photos that were not really, authentic.
Right.
And there was this one shot, I wrote a blog about it really pissed me off. She's sitting at a laptop, but not working. She's sitting you're the camera, right? So let's say you're the camera. She's here. Instead of like getting the shots here and here and here and up here and down here and looking pensive and reacting to the screen and giving that mood and expression that you can write a story to, she's doing this. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I saw that, and it was a bastardization of what I do. But her other photos were beautiful. The problem with that is beauty and aesthetics are super important in your photos. And let me just say this, that people are like, oh, I just want to look good. And it's like, well, no shit. I don't want it to look crappy either because I'm trying to use these photos too. I mean, this is important. Yeah. But that's ground level. That's automatic. That's a given. We don't just, oh yeah, we want it to look good. Yeah, well, okay, of course. But what brings it from here to here is the fact that there is some kind of feeling of the fly on the wall, like we're here, we're experiencing this in a candid way that presents you doing what you do. Of course it's contrived, but it doesn't look contrived when you're looking at the photo. It feels like you're there, and that's the point. We want those kind of pictures because those kind of pictures are what speak to people because it brings them in. And then they're gonna wanna scroll down and read the caption, and then you have a call to action there, and it's like, now they're gonna be doing stuff because you're following the formula that works with people when they look on social. It's like image, video, scroll, stop, look, go down, hear this. Okay, I'll click on that shit. Let's see what happens. Right. And that's what happens. Right. But when you have just beauty shots, it's...
I mean, you can sense it though, right? You can sense it, that it's not like, I don't know.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
All day. I do it all day. Exactly.
Yeah,
You're a visual person.
Right, but let me ask you guys, how many of you guys love doing like photo shoot for yours? Do you like taking photos?
With that guy, yeah.
He's a ringer. He's a ringer, everybody.
I hate photos. I don't know about you guys. How many of you guys dislike like getting into photo shoot? Right.
He definitely does.
Okay. Well, the reason why I asked is this, because I know I'm not the only one. I don't like it. Right. But then
yes.
What can we do? You're good at it. I'm sure you use all sorts of squeaky toys and stuff, and I just laugh like I'm just kidding. But I know
it's not that far off.
I know you're good at that, but how can we be better and help along the whole
It's very simple.
process?
It's very, very simple. First of all, just to give you a little bit of background, for the first 25 years of my life, I avoided cameras like as if I owed it money and it was coming after to collect. I hated cameras. I avoided them. I just was not interested at all. I was very overweight, very insecure, very not happy about the way I looked, and the last thing I wanted was to be in front of a camera, to the point of embarrassment extent of how bad I was to get away from the camera. Family, friends, whatever, it was ridiculous. So I understand, number one. And I use that basis to essentially kind of work my methodology for talking to people. And it's really simple. It's having a conversation, it's talking shit, it's having a good time, it's getting people out of their head and getting them into the moment. The simple thing that to kind of like help the process, it's up to you to vet and qualify your photographer before you step in front of the camera. Okay. That's how you do it. Okay. Because you have to get a sense of understanding whether or not you're gonna have a rapport with that person to the point that you're gonna laugh with them, you're gonna be okay, and you're not gonna feel weird and look completely ridiculous in front of the camera, because I've shot plenty of those too back in the day. Before I really understood this way of approaching it, because I was still in my head about the way that I saw it, and it completely affected the way that I shot people. And then one day I learned from one of my mentors, you just got to be you. And the moment that happened, it was like, well, okay, I'm just going to be me. So I'm a little crazy. I say some crazy stuff.
I believe that.
Yeah. And it's a lot of direction, and it's sarcasm, and it's silly jokes, and it's just I'm like just really trying to make the person not think about themselves in front of a camera.
That's great, because you know what?
That's the key.
Like, I don't follow directions so well.
Nah, you will. Don't worry about it.
No, well, maybe it's the photographer thing, right? Like
it's a huge part. That is a huge part.
Okay, smile, and I go.
No, first of all, hold on.
Because somebody tells me to do something that I freak.
No. If they ask you to smile, they suck at what they do. I'm just going to tell you, because it's not about asking you to smile. It's about inspiring you to smile. It's about getting you to be comfortable. It's not about, hey, can you smile for me? That's ridiculous. That's a lazy photographer. I used to do that, and I didn't understand that was horrible, because that sets up all of these preconceived ways of smiling in your head, and what it doesn't do is get you natural. You got to do it naturally.
In what way?
Wow. All right, so we got to work on you. That's a whole other thing.
Or the lip, but seriously,
yeah, no, I get it.
Because I wanted
of course.
I wanted to do it right, but I don't know how to do it right.
And then every single photo that you take after that moment is going to be trashed in the garbage the moment that you look at it, because
I look through them like the face.
No.
Like,
no. Yeah.
And everybody else says no. Oh no, these are great. Like.
Here's the thing about that, though. There is a balance between what you think looks terrible.
Oh, there's a gap.
There's definitely a gap, because your appearance and your face and your likeness better than anyone else in this room, because you've been staring at it your whole life. However, the people that are out there don't. So some of the stuff that bothers you doesn't mean anything, and you need to get over yourself and own it.
That's good to hear. Let's talk about that a little bit more.
Let's. Because that is a huge piece.
Right.
Because I spend half my time just dodging BS. Oh, I don't like how I look because my left eye is slightly small. I'm like, dude, get over it. No one gives a shit. No. I actually wrote something, I think it was last month, about something along these lines, and it revolved around talking about mentors and people that you look up to, and the people that you follow on social, all of those people. And the way that I ended that blog was just step back for a second and think about all of the content that you've seen, blogs and social posts and their website and all of that stuff and all of their images, right? At what point, when you were looking at this stuff and being completely blown away and inspired and completely just taken aback by the amount of help that you've received from all of their stuff, when did you think about what they looked like? Did you give a shit? Did you even consider it for a second? No. No one cares.
You start to look good, though, I think. When you feel more inspired by those, I don't know, figures.
Yeah.
You are actually seeing through those photos
Yeah.
and making stuff up in your head.
Yeah.
It's almost like so bigger than like the real life type of thing.
And where is that coming from? It's coming from the punctuation of the image with amazing content that helps you be better than you were yesterday, and it helps you figure out what you need to do to get to where they are. And that's the whole point of this stuff. The whole point of it is for you to elevate yourself from here to here, to allow yourself to be open and available to the people that need you most. And that's why I said before, it's your job to do that.
Right.
And the way you do that is by letting go of some of the things that no one cares about. And it, granted.
How do you help them? Because I'm sure you have enough clients saying the same stuff, right? Oh, they have that one because I'm looking from this side.
Oh, please, all day, please. Please, all day, every day. Oh my God.
So how do you help them get over that?
Well, some of it I negotiate while we're shooting. The person who I shot last week had an issue with the way something was going on with her hair. Did I think that it was necessary, and was it something that was a big deal? No. But my client's happiness is. And keeping them in the moment is. So what did I do? I'm rolling around in a brownstone that's probably smaller than the space that's here, trying to figure out how the hell I'm gonna make this work, and I made it work, and that's what we do. You get lost in it, you get into a flow, and then you lose it, and then you just go, and you get it until it works and they're happy, and then you move on, and that's it. Now, as far as before the session, it's important to outline all of the things. As a photographer, it's important to outline all of the things, and we're going to get into this a little bit with what I do on a pre-session, right? We're going to get you all to work. In my pre-session strategy call, like we kind of flesh out who they are, who they serve, what they're doing, what their goals are, and based on that, it really takes a lot of the questions from here to right there, and that's what we're working with. And then when we're shooting, it goes from here to here, and that is what keeps people focused, and it keeps them out of their heads thinking not just about how they look, but that too as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome. So you actually have this elevation planning that's way before the shoot day. Do you actually,
Yes.
How much time do you actually spend with your?
Way too much time.
Well, you need to advertise that.
We're working on that. Yeah, we're working on that.
Whole another conversation.
Yeah, no. I'm with you on that though. You see, I come from the television world, okay? And TV and photography are very different in a lot of ways, and they're very super similar, and they work together well in other ways. I've been working in TV almost 20 years, okay? And I've been working with, national television shows. I've been editing, I've done all these different things, worked with a cajillion different type of personalities, from celebrity to you should be in jail kind of thing, or you have been in jail, but that's neither here nor there.
I work for record labels, so yeah.
So you're familiar. You're familiar with the world. But the thing about
Don't get me started.
No, we'll keep that part out.
Well, yeah, when we go out
Yes.
for beers.
The more important part about that, though, is that I treat these portrait sessions the way that I produce television, which is completely different from what an average photographer does. An average photographer, at most, will just, talk to you about outfits. They'll talk to you about your wardrobe. They'll talk about aesthetics. They don't talk about what actually is going to get people to pay attention to who you are and what you do and pay you money for what you do.
That's way beyond those conversations.
That's
way beyond.
Right. But it's important to have those conversations because everybody is, at the very least, slightly different. On average, very different. Two marketers work completely different. Some people like to work outside. Some people like to work in a co-work. Some people like to work, at a Starbucks. Some people like to have one-on-one consultations via the computer or through in person. The point is that it's all about trying to flesh out the details of what makes you you. And then when you do that, that's the stuff that you then shoot, because that's what you're going to write to. And when you write to it, everything comes together. And that's what makes it different. It's about that strategy. It's about that producing aspect. It's about that planning stage. It's where are we going to shoot? Why are we going to shoot? And yes, I do talk about wardrobe. And yes, I do talk about jewelry. And I talk about makeup and hair. And we talk about all that stuff. But again, ground level. We're talking up here. This is where we all need to be as entrepreneurs. Doesn't matter if you're a startup, doesn't matter if you're established, it doesn't matter where you are. It's about those stories up here.
It seems to me like you're probably spending not time per se, but your focus, like maybe 80% of your focus on the prep, the pre-shoot stage, and the shoot actually happens. Like you're really spending a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is the more time you spend before it, the less time you spend during it and after it.
That's what I was getting.
That's really what it is.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'll probably spend about 90 minutes to 2 hours on a call.
Right.
I have about 30 some. Today we have a much more curtailed version. We have the plan light today,
Yep.
but I'll spend about 2 hours on the phone, and then for some clients, if I'm going to shoot them, I don't write it up. But if I write it up, it's a novel. Because what I'm giving them, what we've created as a team talking about it.
Your the elevation plan on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 11 pages.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it sure was.
All the highlights,
That was awesome that she did that. She said to me.
That was her doing.
That was her. That wasn't me.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. I talked to her. I wrote all the answers to her questions down. Then I sat and I cried a little bit, realizing how long this was going to take to actually put together.
Okay, I thought that you were crying just because you're so like.
No, I cried because it was a lot of work. But I cry a lot. And then I wrote it up, and it took me about 6 hours to write it up. It was ridiculous. But the thing about it was when she read it, she thought she was just going to get it's a PDF. But what she thought she was going to get is like a couple pages basically summarized. She's like, I took notes too. I'm like, oh, that's great. And then she took that and she goes, I put my notes away. I was completely blown away and overwhelmed by this to the point that I had to print it out and look at it the next day and highlight it and write notes like it was a book.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know the backstory of that.
Yeah.
So,
no, it was pretty awesome. I was not expecting that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But that's the kind of working relationship that you want with your photographer.
You don't want a button pusher. You want someone that's a collaborator in your success.
Right.
A button pusher is you can get your cousin or your brother to go grab a nice fancy camera and do that. That's not going to make it work. What's going to make it work is when you work with someone who understands the power of the visual and understands how when you match the visual with the story, now you got some fire you're working with. And that's the stuff that people care about. And you get bringing them in because it's like, how do I not pay attention to this person? How do I not want to have this person solve my problems? And that's what we're doing. Collaborating, not.
Awesome.
I think so. I think it's pretty awesome.
I think I'm going to flip this a little bit. And so I don't know if Daniel Green's here today. Daniel? Maybe he didn't make it. But anyway, so the last event, there was this guy, Daniel. He has his own startup, but he suggested that we introduce ourselves, meaning that everybody has about 15 to 20 seconds just to introduce yourself. And I thought that was really great. Now, I didn't even think about this before, but wasn't it awesome?
That was great.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah, no, totally. So I think that's what we should do now, so that you, John, get the idea of who these people are.
Okay.
Before we get into our real, we're gonna work. We're gonna work a little bit. We have this exercise
Yes.
now. So before we do that, I think that's what we should do. You wanna start?
Yeah, I'm Christophe. I'm a food and beverage consultant, management consultant.
Cool.
Awesome. You go back.
Ty, also known as the Whisker Man. Our product prevents razor bumps and ingrown hairs. I sell it on Amazon.
Ooh. I like that.
I can use some photos soon.
I already am thinking about how we make that look awesome.
Nice. Okay.
Already know. We're good.
Don't ask me to smile.
Believe
I
me.
do it on my own.
Good.
All right.
My name is Lisan, and I'm chopstick business, custom-made chopsticks for restaurants.
Ooh,
hotels,
that's
and,
awesome.
And special high-end chopsticks.
Cool.
What are the kind of materials that you use?
All kinds.
All kinds. So
Yes.
just like
Yeah.
bamboo to
Yes,
just
from
plastic.
disposable to reusable to ebony to
Oh, wow.
ivory, yeah, everything. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
But usually we don't do that anymore, but we have one pair like
Right, in
for
the
just
showcase
display.
type of.
Yes,
thing.
yes, yeah.
Right. Now, before we get to you, I think I wanted to make sure that I don't miss you back there. I don't know why I said I'm back there though, behind the wall.
Hold on, you do that. I'm gonna fill this up.
My name is Marcella. I do work with the
Fill this up. Helps me think.
Mainly banking?
Thank you.
Both. Okay.
And I do amateur photography.
Nice. What do you shoot? What do you shoot?
Sites.
Oh, cool. What do you shoot?
I'm more street photography work.
That's where it all began. That's awesome.
Just like at the end.
No turning back there.
Love it.
Okay, thanks. Then come back to you now.
Hi, I'm Kazuko. I recently started my online business for hair accessories and jewelries. And for now, it's very small business. I ship my own photography
Cool.
myself, so it's very helpful.
Cool. Awesome.
Hi everyone, I'm Sid. I wear two professional hats. One of them is that I teach a certifying course in positive psychology. And the second one is that myself and my business partner, we work with high net worth families. So we help them with family dynamics and then also help them do impact using evidence-based approaches so that they can do the most with the resources they have available.
What was your name again? I'm sorry.
I'm Sid.
Sid. Okay, Sid. Sid needs to talk to Veronica. Just trust me.
Sure.
Veronica is helping me out for the event. By the way, this is Veronica. Just make sure. Sorry, I didn't. Just talk to Veronica.
I'll talk to Veronica.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joe D'Amato. I'm the chef and owner of the Breakfast Shack food truck in Historic Queens.
And you guys are.
Sure am.
We're a family.
That's right.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
We got to make sure we have enough tomatoes in the room. That's what it is.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case. Never heard of that one.
I'm Baker. I'm a model maker, and I do a little review on this side. Yeah, that's it.
What kind of, what, you do 3D modeling or what kind of model make it?
Architecture modeling.
In what
buildings,
industry?
houses, schools, and things like that.
Oh,
Commercial. Mm-hmm.
commercial,
Yeah.
okay. All right, awesome. All right, then I guess move back there. Cover the back and then come back.
My name is Ava. I am a marketing student, but
You doing what, internship?
in New York, I have internship at the United Nations.
Ooh,
Nice.
amazing. Wonderful, welcome. All right, Andy.
My name is Yukiko. I am the owner of Snowstick Video, and we do teach how to create a smartphone story video. And
Oh my God,
Yes,
I met you over Twitter, right?
that's right.
It's that social media thing working its magic.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for coming, by the way.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
I do Facebook every day.
Yeah, she does it every day, early in the morning. What time is it? Like 6?
6:30 a.m. in the morning. Yeah.
Right.
Oof.
Periscope every day.
Ay.
Anyway, so my future plan, we started this business 3 years ago. This is almost 2 years next week. The future goal is providing platform and app to connect with each other by story.
Nice.
Okay, awesome. Come back to you, Brett. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped. Oh my God, I'm so
I
sorry.
don't want going last. My name is S.H.A.R.E. I am a spreadsheet instructor. I've been teaching spreadsheets for about 7 years or so. My goal is to be the #1 funniest Excel instructor in the world. The bar is very low right now, so and with John's help, I've been really kind of elevating my own brand and my own perception that people have of me.
Oh, he's a sweetheart.
Ask you a question.
But go ahead.
It's coming.
Uh,
How do you feel about Google Sheets?
We can talk more afterwards, but I used to hate it, but it's actually not that bad.
Oh.
It's actually not that bad. It's not as powerful as Excel, but the main point is that before I used to think of myself as just someone who teaches people on the side. It was a little bit more informal, and I didn't really. It's not that I didn't believe myself, but I didn't see myself as this really, really important expert in the way that I was presenting myself, and then the way that I now have images with John's help, and John has done an incredible job doing it. He's not paying me to say this. I just really believe in him.
He's just a
Are you
sweet.
sure?
He's a sweetie. No, he's just being a sweetie right now.
John, because I saw the images that you had for S.H.A.R.E, which were out of this world, and I was like, how did you get that? And he said, you need to meet this guy.
Testimonial.
Which goes to.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it, guys.
It really goes to the quality of the content, right? So creating content that is so compelling and so moving that it's not just about an image or here's someone on a computer teaching a spreadsheet. It's so far beyond that. I love what I do and I love sharing with other people.
Right.
And finally, after years, I'm able to really convey that with images, which I never had before and I never dreamed would be possible. So that's why I'm as excited as I am today.
That's amazing. Yeah, that is.
Thank you, my friend. That's very sweet of you.
That's a very good point, because it seems like what you do is so far from something visual.
So that's the thing.
Who would
You're
have
not
thought?
an actor, you're not a model or whatever, or like an influencer.
Not sexy.
Influencer.
People think Excel is not sexy,
Not
but
sexy.
they don't know yet.
Let me tell you.
No.
Let me tell you something about that. We make them spreadsheets look pretty damn sexy when we're done with it. That's what we do.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Yeah, so you-
There's just so many underused features. Oh, don't get me started. Okay, let's go. So,
Get in here. Get in the chair. Come on.
Brett,
I'm Brett. So I do videography. I create content for businesses, video content mainly. Work with businesses, brands, folks looking to rebrand something maybe and have a different aesthetic or a different feeling to it. So yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome.
I'm Amanda. I'm a cognitive psychologist and
Cool.
coach. So I help business owners and entrepreneurs get unstuck and make unprecedented progress without ever feeling overwhelmed.
Nice.
having that background adds another layer to it. I would
Yeah.
imagine, because I don't want to oversimplify business coaching, because they're different, the expertise in different areas. But I bet that degree adds some unique layer, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, the expertise that I have is mostly in how to create sustainable change in complex systems, and human beings are complex systems. And so the way that you create sustainable change in an organization, if you can translate it into your, especially for solopreneurs, where it's just them, and they have to handle everything. So how do we create sustainable change without the overwhelm that sort of shuts you down? So that's really what my expertise is. And I do it with entrepreneurs, I also do it with creatives and academics and nonprofit directors of nonprofits.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you do any corporate or not.
I do, yeah. I also, and I work with schools in the New York City Department of Education. So I take improvement science wherever improvement science can help yourself.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thanks.
All right.
Happy to be here.
Hi everyone, my name is Sean. I also do video production.
Oh, you're Sean.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I emailed you.
You emailed me,
a couple
yeah.
years ago, but,
I made it impossible on my website. You had to go like all sorts of places to find my email.
Exactly, but I was dedicated.
Yeah, I know. And I did say that, right? Didn't I? Yeah, you're delicious. Yeah.
But I also do video production, and I love cycling, food, which I need to talk to you about your food cart. I'd love to try it and hear you out. And I also love live music, so if anyone has recommendations, I'd love to talk to you.
You just moved to New York, you said, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
4 weeks ago.
Oh, wow. From where?
For the winter.
Perfect.
I like the cold actually, so I'm ready for that.
You got the gear.
Yeah.
All right. The last night, right? The last night.
Hi, I'm Yoav. Maiko and I know each other from earlier in the year, so I'm happy to be at another one of her events. I always find them very interesting. I've done various things with finance, with startup companies the last couple of years. And last year, my girlfriend and I started an organic skincare company that happened pretty much by accident because she's very good with skincare and I don't know anything about skincare. And then we developed some products and then she gave it to people. The feedback was phenomenal. So now we sell on Amazon and some stores and we have holiday fairs coming up. That's like one thing that I'm doing. And then this year has been a lot happening and I'm very excited for next year.
Nice.
Great.
Awesome. All right, so now we sort of introduced each other. Then I guess I'm going to bust out that thing.
The thing?
Yeah.
We're going to do the thing now? Are they ready for the thing?
It's
I don't know. This thing?
This one, yes.
All right.
All right, so if you would, take one copy and pass this around, please. I hope we have enough pens. If you guys have pen, then maybe you can stick with this one. Yep.
Will there be any images of your work?
Nope.
No?
But we'll definitely make sure you know where to find me.
Yeah, I love to. And I love to see the sexy spreadsheet.
There's plenty of them on. There's plenty of them on the internet as we speak. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because I don't know how you can, take images of spreadsheet and make it, different. Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, that's why I want to see it.
Absolutely. Well, before, I mean, I'll give out my handle and my Instagram handle and my Facebook, my website, all that fun stuff. I got a nice free little giveaway for you guys too at the end of this. So you'll have plenty of time to check all that out. But really, like I was stressing before, the most important part before we even step in front of the camera is what we answer on this page right here, because this is a small portion of what I do, what we were discussing before, the brand image elevation plan. This is stuff, the kind of questions that I ask. They do not reflect the follow-ups that I ask, and they do not reflect the stuff that necessarily comes after this, but this is my starting point with everybody that I shoot. Okay, and essentially what the idea of this entire plan is, as we discussed before, is to really kind of wrap your head around the whole idea of what is important visually to punctuate the stories I want to tell about my business and brand. So as you can see on this,
I think we're gonna go over it sort of together, so you don't have to start writing.
Yeah, no, we're
gonna.
We'll take it piece by piece. We'll go your business, we'll go your presence, your work environment, props, and all that fun jazz. But answering these questions is what gives you the juicy stuff that makes you you, and that's the key. So the very first question that I ask is the very first question that's on the top of this page, which is, where do you see yourself in a year and what does it look like? Because that's your North Star. That where are we going? What the hell are we doing? Because that affects everything else. So I have people answer that, and then I have them describe their business, again, what you do, who you serve, because it's funny because a lot of people don't know.
Well, I was about to ask.
A lot of people.
So what kind of answers do you get?
Perfect example of how to deal with that. The 11-page, novella that was on Instagram. She was like, "Oh, I serve everybody." I'm like, "No, you don't. No, you do not." Kind of, yeah.
That would be my response.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. She didn't understand the concept of niching. So I had to sit there for 10 minutes and explain to her. She is a...
Did you just show this to her? Like, you need to read this?
No, I didn't, but that's a great idea. I should probably...
You should just have them.
I gotta hook Pia up, yeah.
Most of the time, I just give out Michael Garber's e-myth.
Yeah.
Call me when you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want to explain. Just read it and call me when you're
Exactly.
done.
It's like they're not ready.
No, they're not ready.
But the reality of it is that I sat with that woman for about 10 minutes and described to her the virtues of niching your brand and not serving everyone, and we ended up.
Should have charged that separate.
I know that should have been a coaching fee and getting people unstuck. That's what that was. That was just thrown in as a freebie. But what it really was is actually untying myself to be able to do the rest of this. Because if you don't have that, and that's actually a very key point, you don't have that, you're not ready. You're not ready.
And it makes it so difficult for you to help, right? You just,
It is difficult, it is not impossible, and you can get around it based on the other things, but what makes it difficult is that the client does not understand what these actual questions are answering and who they're really talking to. Can we extract stuff from all this? Of course we can. All of this stuff is very, it's very straightforward in a lot of senses, but what it's not is intuitive to everyone that's an entrepreneur that's figuring out what it is that they're trying to do. It's simple questions, but when it's laid out like this, it's like, oh, so that makes sense.
so that's important.
Yes.
And when you get a response like that, well, now, then your work is pretty much cut out, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's always cut out. People are crazy.
So the next one is what makes your business unique. So that's the unique value proposition,
or
the competitive edge,
the unfair advantage. Yeah, all of those fun ways of saying the same thing. Exactly.
Funny answers for that one?
Sometimes I don't. I mean, people just. It's just like I don't know what
It's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
That's a good one, right?
I've heard that, and then I tell them that sucks and that doesn't work.
Nobody's ever done it.
Yeah. I'm special. How are you special? I just am. It's like, no, that's it. It's like you got to drill and drill and drill and go and deep dive, because otherwise you're not gonna get the most out of our session, our collaboration. This is helping me, helping you. So you really need to kind of really think about what it is that makes you unique. Like for me, what makes my business unique? Well, I shoot expression. I focus on expression. I focus on people's stories. I focus on close-ups. I focus on getting in there and really showing their tribe what makes them different. That's my unique difference from other photographers. Yeah. And I just literally made that up as we were talking about it.
I know you rehearsed it.
Oh, well, yeah, totally. Yes.
No, but like jokes aside though, wouldn't you say, let me ask you, you as an entrepreneur, so that's a little bit of a different question. I know we're doing this exercise together.
Sure.
But, I kind of wanted to mix it up a little bit. Crazy. But
Please.
how often did you have to change your answer to that up until this
I've changed it about 35 million times.
Yeah.
Because I had absolutely no clue what the hell I was doing for a very long time. This niche exists since January of this year. I've been behind a camera for almost 20 years. I've been shooting people specifically, headshots and forward for about 7 years. I had my own business for three and a half years, and I was floating around being a jack of all trades photographer, not knowing what the hell was going on, what I was doing. I was hustling to make whatever I could, make it happen. And then I had that client, and she basically was like, I have a book coming out,
Read it.
and I don't have social media, and go. And I basically came up with this for her. And that's how I have what I have, because she's an ideal client. She's a thought leader. Now, I used to hate that phrase, by the way.
So do I, and I still do. Well, the only thing is this, though, if I may interject.
Sure.
Do not call yourself a thought. Let other people tell
That's
you.
the
You
key.
graciously say,
There you go.
No, but
Yes.
right. Okay, please.
That's.
It's our deal, right? So we make a pact, don't you?
But the thing about it is, though, is that yes, the phrase,
Of course, yeah, sure.
the thing about that is yes, there's a stigma behind it based on the fact that people have bastardized the phrase. But the reality is that if you are brave enough to go out there with your thoughts and you're sharing it in the way you do, you're one of them.
Out there. Yeah, that's
and I do it too.
Yeah.
I earned that shit. And let me tell you something.
I would say the same.
Absolutely. You earn that because it's through your struggle. It's through your agonizing amount of pain based on knowing that no one's paying attention. And then one day people start paying attention. And then one day it starts to resonate with people. And all of a sudden, like, you're helping people. There's nothing wrong with calling yourself. There was someone on my LinkedIn the other day that actually kind of blasphemed the whole, oh, there's no such thing, it's ludicrous and this and that. I get that, but you're completely taking out the whole experience of that person. That person's knowledge based on living it, doing it, sharing it, and making things happen. So the reality of it is if we get a cooler name for thought leader, I'm with it. But the reality is that's what we're working with now, and it's okay to own it.
I think it's okay that, like I said, I think it's all right that if you let the rest of the world judge.
I do agree with that too, though.
Right, and so I have nothing against the term itself. It's how you use it.
When you want people to genuflect to you, because I'm a thought leader, that's different.
Right.
I agree. That's ego. That's different.
Start your social media bio saying that
I'm a thought leader. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, keynote speaker, and it's just that I go like, I wish he didn't do that, but but I'm
with you on that.
I'm okay with that.
But when other people call you that, you own it. You own every second of it because you've earned it.
Show, don't tell, right?
Absolutely.
Because we put our.
It's all about, and that's right. It's value. It's providing value, and that's another thing that your content, your video content, your image content does. It provides value for free. You're giving it away in order to bring in the people that really need you to get the next level. They need your personal attention, okay? And that is super important to understand. It's about value. It's not about having people just love you because everything you post is amazing and my life is awesome and I drive this and I go here and I have these friends and all this other shit. That the reality is the person that's looking at your stuff doesn't care about that. They aspire in some senses to get to a level where they have those things in their life if that's their goal. But regardless of that, your knowledge and your experience is absolutely integral into their growth. And that's important. And it's important that you don't just say, I'm that person. If people say it to you.
I just feel like we just dropped a huge value bomb. No, first and foremost, so my question was, you know, how many times have you changed your answer to this very question? And your honest answer was millions of times.
Millions of times. I mean, that's hyperbole.
Isn't this
15 times.
Still going for you too? Because it's going for me too.
Yes.
I can't lie. Right?
That's a very important point. What everyone writes down right now is where they are right now. Where you are in your business 6 months from now, it will change because mine's changed, not because of naivete. Thank you, sir. Stumbling. But it's not because of that. It's because the goals change. The goals change, the direction of your business changes because you're going from here to here to here to here, and now you're streamlined, and yeah, it's naturally going to change.
Also, your past clients, the present clients, and the potentially future clients may give you different clues sometimes. Like sometimes I feel like okay, I've seen it all. I know what my stuff is. You know, there's a certain way of looking at it, but then once I put that out there, many people would say different things, and then sometimes I go, oh, you know what? I didn't really think about that. I'm so
of course.
So it's not just about
all the time.
Us in our head. You know, sometimes the situation calls for that. So it's ongoing.
Well,
it's an ongoing.
We're not islands. We don't live in a vacuum. We're not by ourselves. We are by ourselves. I mean, I don't know all of your situation. You know, the video guys, you guys might have a team or not. But I work a lot by myself in my house, staring at a wall, wondering why. Why I do this to myself. But when you present yourself and you're open enough and you're brave enough to actually let these thoughts out into the ether and people are absorbing it, yeah, you get feedback. Feed forward. You get some feed forward. He knows about that. Because it's not about looking back and kind of like,
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Figuring out the future. Yeah.
Okay.
You like that one? It's true though.
Yeah, it's true, right.
And that's what you get from working with other people and listening to other people.
And you
Laughing
rethink.
at the question here.
Which one?
Which one is it?
We're totally screwing this up, I'm sorry.
How would you describe your wardrobe style when you work?
Do you know why I asked that question? I'll fast forward to that. So that's about your props and other interests. Okay. It has to, yeah, we'll go there. The reason why I ask that is because I'll use me as an example. Do you see how I'm dressed? Minus the shoes, I pretty much dress like this every single day of my life, and if it's warm out, it's shorts. But basically, I have about 25 black t-shirts at home.
Steve Jobs.
I'm not.
It's easy.
It eliminates, yeah, my Steve Jobs. Decision fatigue. I don't have time in my life for that. I'm trying to make that money, right?
I miss my middle school and high school years back in Japan.
Uniforms.
Yeah, I don't have to think of it.
You don't have to think of anything. I was in Catholic elementary school. I did the same damn thing. Then when you go to high school, it's like, oh, now I got to look fancy. I don't have a job. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. I wore Dockers every day in high school.
But I think it's an important question because
It is.
if you work from home, it sets the mood.
It's okay. It's a two-prong part there. It's not only when you work by yourself, yes, that's fine, but when I coach my clients on what they should wear, there's a couple of things I ask them. First of all, how do you dress in front of your clients? Number one, we start there. Then number two, out of those outfits, which outfits are you comfortable with standing up in and sitting down in? Now, why do I ask that? Because some people, when they wear certain clothes and they sit down, they feel like crap because it's tight and oh my God, and 50 million things and oh, I can't wear this and you gotta cover me and I can't, and just don't look at me, and I've dealt with all of that. So it has to be a two-pronged thing. It has to be about how you feel standing up and sitting down, logistically in terms of how you feel for confidence and for brand purposes. The colors are important. The patterns are important. It's all important because this is you. You gotta wear, and the other thing, jewelry and accessories do you love to wear? That's a huge one, especially for women, although not exclusive to women, because I've had this come up specifically for one of the thought leaders that I shot. He had a pinky ring that was handed down from his dad to him before he died, and he wears it everywhere, and he's a keynote, and he wears it all the time, and it's a big, important part of his thing. So what did I do? I shot an extreme close-up of his hand sitting on the edge of a couch like this, and he got his legs folded, and it was all about the ring, because he can write a story about that will work for his people, because it's not about necessarily his brand in terms of his thought leadership. It's about his brand and his personality, because that's important to him, and that will resonate with people, and that's the stuff you have to share. Those little things that you may take for granted, like the way that like these wristbands, for example, these have a emotional resonance to me because they were given to me by a client. I don't, and I can shoot a picture and I can talk about it, and then I can turn it into a way that talks about exactly what we're talking about for my clients. Like, those things matter. All of it matters, and that's really what this is about. It's bringing light to the fact that the stuff that you take for granted actually is the stuff that's the juiciness that's really going to punctuate your stories. That's really what this is about.
I might have taken some stuff out, I think, because you had.
Yeah, this is much smaller than the actual one.
I had to make it less overwhelming, but I believe that there are more questions about the environment related. So how do you
Work environment.
work, the work
Right.
flow type of thing? Just
Right.
because some people may be working at the desk, maybe standing up. You know, like one of those. Have you ever seen that the computer like a?
I've worked on them. Yeah, they're on high.
treadmill.
On the what?
The treadmill is underneath it. So you have the.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yes.
But maybe some people use that, right?
That's
So
awesome. Yeah, whatever works.
that would be cool too. If
It
you're
would.
using it. But I guess most of the photographers may not ask those questions.
90% of them don't. 95% of them don't. And I checked before I did this whole what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think that was unique. So I had
It
to
is,
really bring it up
and
just say-
it's not just necessarily the environment per se. It's literally having you in front of your computer, your phone, your tablet, doing your thing, expressing different emotions through your expressions, and really encapsulating that emotion with a composition that drives people's attention to that, so that that expression will punctuate whatever you're talking about in that caption below. That's what that's about. The environment is important because it gives that texture in the shot. You're not just shooting in a studio. We're not just doing headshots. We're sitting in a co-work space. We're, sitting at the edge of that table. Like that, sitting just right there by where the lemonade water thing is. Like if you're just sitting there and you're writing, how cool is that shot if you're journaling something and everything behind you's out of focus and it's composed in a way that it's like you're justified to a side of the image so that people's attention goes that way. And then the other side, you can either put your branding, you can put a story, a thought, a phrase, or you talk about it underneath. The point being is that if you were in a studio, you don't get that. You don't get that juicy visual, that really scrolling. What the hell is that? Let me read that. I like it. I'm writing a comment, and there's a hyperlink. I'm clicking on it, and I'm there. Right. That's the point.
So if someone hires you, though, you're like on foot. You go to anywhere after this
yes.
session.
Yes.
And you agree to certain different locations. You'll be.
Well, we talk about it here. These questions help me know where they work. Are they working at home? Are they working here in a co-work? Are they working at a Starbucks? Are they working? Where's some of the weirdest places I shot people with? I mean,
share some stories with us.
I've seen some really weird things, but that's another. It's interesting places.
Warehouses?
I've shot in warehouse. I mean, between my TV work and my photo work, I've just seen the weirdest shit you could possibly think of. But as far as the entrepreneurs are concerned, yeah, I've shot in warehouses. I've shot, in the middle of this. Because the other thing about environment is that it's not just where you work. What does work look like to you? That's the question we're really answering. What does work look like to you? Because my work doesn't look like your work or your work or your work. Not just location, but process. Process is the juicy stuff. I want to see what you do. I want a close-up of your hands doing the thing that you do. I want to see the product that you're creating. I want to see your face reacting to creating that product or service. I want to see all that stuff. Why? Because the people that are going to pay you a shit ton of money want to see it. They want to feel that they're getting that value. They want to see what it is that it looks like when they're going to sit across from you, charge thousands of dollars, and they're going to have their lives changed. You got to do it. That's what it's for.
I think, for example, Nadia, your girlfriend, I think you need the photos of her actually making those skincare things, right? The organic.
You guys make it?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's.
It's a process that we're starting to develop more of that now that we're getting a lot more orders and we have the holidays
Nice.
coming up.
Yeah.
The images we have on our website are not good, and there's a lot we need to do to make it.
People wanted to see
better
those,
for
I
S.H.A.R.E.
think.
and this, when he was talking about how you helped him tremendously.
Yeah. It's not just the product shots at the end. That's great. It's fine. But watching you get dirty, doing the thing, making it happen, that's what people care about. That's how you build a tribe. You don't build it by just showing product shots. I can get an iPhone and shoot a product photo of you. That'd be great. But what would be even better is watching you guys sweating and making it happen. That's the shit that people care about. I'm like getting excited thinking about shooting that right now. So I would get all up in that. No, I get very excited. I curse a lot, and I get very loud when I get excited about stuff to shoot, because the reality of it is that's what you need, and that's what I love to do more than anything itself. Yeah, I quit a very nice job to do it, you know? And that's another thing. That's another thing that you really have to remember. You know, no one told you to be an entrepreneur. No one told you that you can be off the grid, off the matrix, doing your own thing. No one told you that.
Just so that you can answer this question at the Thanksgiving table, like, so what do you do again? I know, every year.
The answer is I do awesome shit and I feel great about it.
Real job, man.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You do cool shit. You change people's lives. You make them better than they were yesterday. You help them help, you know, others. What better?
Your photos need to actually say.
Absolutely. Processes. And that's, again, another overarching thing to this entire piece of paper, or two pieces of paper, is its process. It's what is it. You know, it's like we ask you what makes your business unique, but the reality is every question on here is what makes you unique. It's the sum total of the whole thing, in addition to the other 50 million questions I ask people. But the reason why I ask all of these questions, again, is to extract those juicy details, and there's no such thing as too much. There's no such thing. It's about what's the best ones, or what can, I constantly, throughout every session, I'll pop, turn, pop, turn, angle, I'm on the floor, I'm rolling around, I'm on the street, on the middle of the street.
Those shots, I think you're on like, I don't know, like a pavement or something.
Yeah, yeah, because that's what we do. That's what is required to get the stuff that you need in order to tell your story the right way. I gotta be on the floor. I'm on the floor all the time, and every time that I'm on the ground and I'm by a car whizzing by my head, it doesn't bother me, because well, first of all, it's kind of cool. I love doing it. It's pretty badass. I love what I do. It's, you know, it's within the...
Well, you get into this whole flow state thing. Like, I think you get into that more often than the other business people.
It's one of the main reasons why I do what I do, because it's a feeling that you can't... I mean, you all understand that feeling in different ways based on what you do. There is that flow of being in the moment, and you just lose track of everything, and it's just happening. I do that every single time I grab a camera, and it's something that I am extremely grateful for, because for the first 35 years of my life, I was not exactly a happy camper. I was pretty fucking miserable, and I did what I had to do, and I thought this was the way to go, and then, you know, one day it's like, you know what, I quit, I'm doing something else. And then when you find that thing that gets you up in the morning, no matter what, Saturday, Sunday, whatever the hell, and you just work, it puts you in a space where this is what I need to do, and when I'm on my deathbed, I got nothing to look back for and regret, because I went after it, and I did it, and I had the courage to do it, and I'll do it again if I had the chance.
You can't buy that.
No, you can't buy that. It's priceless, and it's a gift, and I love it, and I could talk about this shit for hours, and I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't even care.
But that's so hard to attain. There's so many people who make a shitload of money, so miserable.
Yeah, I know plenty of them. Yeah, but that's no, and that's why it's important to really focus on what it is that makes you you. You read this, you follow through, you get the content that you need, that people can find you, and you're off to the races. And it's like, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I made sure that it's simple enough and digestible to get started. I think there are too many, like so many questions that you can actually expand from these.
Yes.
But first thing first, I guess, you know, get this thing down pretty tight so that you can move on to more of a elaborate.
Really, it's not only that, but this is translated by your photographer. This helps you walk into a room and have a plan, some very rudimentary form of a plan. Because without this, or without, it's not about this per se, it's about, you know, the 200-foot view from above, looking down, kind of trying to understand and wrap your head around, because, you know, those of you who are not familiar with, you know, photography and images and all this other stuff, and you're busy doing the thing, your gift, your magic trick, the thing that makes you happy, you need to take this information and it has to be decoded by the photographer that you're working with. Because they're the ones that visually translate all this. This is all well and good, but if you don't have someone that can sit there and actually make this happen, it's worthless. You have to be able, it's about having that rapport, it's about having that connection, and then it's about having the collaboration. And that's what transforms the thoughts in your mind to actual things that you can use that are assets. That's the assets that you use, that you write to, that you can then start to get your stuff out there and be seen.
So besides the fact that all of us can call you, what are other tips that you would offer for finding
the right photographer? Well, I'm glad you asked that, because, segue, as part of the free gift that I have for all of you lovely folks that have been listening to me ramble on for God knows how long, I have a gift through on my website, and it's the ultimate guide to making your next portrait shoot not suck. That's the name of it. And basically, what's in it is a couple of different sections that kind of give you the strategy to understand how to prepare yourself emotionally, physically, you know, all that stuff, the outfits and all that jazz, before the session and during the session, how to maximize the value between you and your shooter, you and your photographer. And one of the things, a little section that's in there, is how to qualify a photographer. I mentioned before to everybody how, you know, we take for granted the little things of the things we know, and we don't really like shout it out, and we just like, oh, people know that. They don't know shit. They expect you to know it. So the thing that I put in there is, I forgot how many questions it is, but essentially what it is a guide on how to ask the kinds of questions that will elicit a kind of yes or no vibe from you on whether or not this is the right person that you want to work with. And it has nothing to do with their portfolio, and it has nothing to do with the price tag. No, here's the thing. We like to look at shiny things and, ooh, that's a great shot, and oh, that looks wonderful, and blah, blah, blah. Don't know how they shot that, don't know how much it was photoshopped, don't know anything about how that was contrived.
Or if that really works for you, right? I mean, it's one thing
Exactly.
to look at something,
Exactly.
and I've been there so many times, like, well, even getting a haircut, like on somebody else's hair, I'm like, whoa, it looks fabulous. I wish I could have that one, and I would take the photo to the salon, and they were not.
I feel the same way about my hair.
But it's kind of similar to that.
It's very similar.
Right.
It's very similar in that it works for them, not necessarily for me.
In the Photoshop factor, I didn't want to miss that.
Forget about it. I don't Photoshop very much. My headshots very heavily based on a lot of technical geeky photo things that I don't need to, all that nonsense. But when it comes to the portraits, very minimal. Like if you have blemishes on your face, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that because that looks like crap and people are gonna stare, and it's fine. But I shot a woman, a 50-year-old woman who, she looked at a photo that I took and she was laughing, and she has very prominent laugh lines here, 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 and here, and here. Okay. She looked at it. I don't know, I'm like, you laugh a lot. I'm like, you not only laugh a lot, but you enjoy yourself. You are living your dream. You fucking own every single wrinkle on your face and don't get rid of it. I'll lighten it from the lighting and like the lighting shoot. But in terms of, I'm like, this is not a beauty shoot. And that's the thing. This is not a beauty shoot. It's not editorial. It's not in a magazine. We're not having this out there in that way. This is about your business, your brand, who you serve, and why. And that stuff matters because it shows who you are. And you don't hide it. Blemish work, yes. The collar's weird. We dump that photo. But a wrinkle in your forehead, nah, that shit stays. Period.
I guess that's where this whole thing about I don't like this angle, or I don't like this look and this and that. I think it all comes from the fact that we're so brainwashed with all that mega Photoshop photos
Yes.
in general by looking at anything, right? The magazines, whatever, like anything that we see, like they're just so doctored up, but our eyes get used to that, and we put ourselves a lot more pressure to think that, oh man, we need to look just like that to be expensive type of thing. I know you already made a point saying that that's not the way to go.
No, it's not that it's not the way to go. I was going to say that that's half of the thing. The other half is people's self-image of themselves, and it has nothing to do. It's people's natural inclination to want to present their quote-unquote best selves in front of the camera, and they get mixed up with what that actually means. Because as I said before, when you look at people who absolutely inspire you to want to do these crazy, amazing things, you do not care what they look like.
Yep.
But there is the vanity issue that people have been ingrained based on the advertising that's here, and that's definitely true.
Right.
But a lot of it has to do with us. Yes,
right.
For sure. Yeah.
Well.
Oh, you have a question? Yes.
Environment that you may be working in or that you're seeking to enter also affects the image that you're
Absolutely.
trying to project, or how you just naturally stand out from that profile?
What do you mean exactly in terms of standing out?
You may not necessarily dress like them or look like them, or be similar to how your clients may value the aesthetics that they may value.
Right. Well, my job as a portrait photographer is to work with what their vision is, work with what my experience in what I know is important for them, even though they don't know what it is, and we meet in the middle, eventually leaning them towards my way. I was just kidding. It's meeting in the middle. It's about understanding what's important. That's why it's like, where do you see yourself? What's important to you? What's your wardrobe? Like, it's not like we work with a blank, me personally, work with a blank canvas and then I kind of paint it on them. No, they're painting 90% of that picture themselves, and that's by design. The design is for them to extract those unique aspects of who they are. And then we work with that within the environment. That make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Cool. Any other questions?
Yeah, you guys can ask any questions.
You guys figure out a question. I'm gonna get some more beer.
What camera you use?
Oh, this conversation.
This guy. I use a Nikon D5. My backup's a Nikon D4.
What glass do you usually use?
I use, like, in my portrait shoots, 4 different ones. I have a 60mm macro, I shoot at 80 to 200, a 24 to 70, and a 60, and an 85 or a 50. All of it, and it all depends.
Right.
It all, when we're talking about, hold on, let me sit in the camera. When we're talking, I was about to get a beer. No, let me stop. All of them matter like when I'm shooting people on a computer, 24 to 70 to get the wide. When I want to get those detail shots of the hands and they're working the computer or they're working on the phone or whatever, macro. When I'm shooting them outside super wide but I want to compress, my 200. When I want to shoot a headshot, 85. They're all dependent. I bring them all, and you know, it's something that I didn't understand how important it was until I understood how important it was. I had no idea, because I had one lens. I'm like, fuck it, I just shoot everything. And then it's like, why does this person's face look, I'll forgive everyone for the geeky technical stuff, but
I just don't know what just happened.
yep. How to tilt the head a certain way to accentuate the lines, and how to accentuate jawline, how to get those eyes out, how to bring expression out in someone who would just otherwise look in front of a camera. But that's the fun part. That's the fun part.
Oh God, you guys can geek out on this.
All day.
Question.
Yeah.
It's not a geeky question, because I was like, I
Thank
did not
God.
follow
No,
what
I'm
you were
just
talking about. How many different outfits and locations and stuff like that do you feel like, because if you're going to invest, right, there's an upfront cost of like getting a photographer, period. And then there's always like 3 or 4 or 5 locations, probably is not as different as like getting out there again. My worry is I'm gonna do like 2 locations, and then I'm gonna be real sad that I don't have me in a park. And what about the dog? And like, should I have brought my children? And why do I need a red outfit for Christmas?
Mhm.
Like, how do you decide how much to invest in order to
That's what that's for.
a really long time?
That's what this is for, because it's fleshed out. There's questions not necessarily on here that would talk about importance of family. And with,
It's on that.
yeah, oh, is it? Yeah.
it's on
Yeah. And then it becomes a question of, what are we shooting professionally with the portraits as the anchor of your image content, and what's covered by taking shots yourself or selfies? Because unlike pretty much 98% of the other photographers, I welcome selfies if they don't suck and if they have a purpose. Because I can't be there 365 days of your life. I can represent a very large portion of what it is that you need to present yourself as on your website, on your social feeds, but I can't be there for that day that something amazing happened and you want to share that story. But I talk about it, and it's important. As far as like just getting back to the nuances of location and outfits, I am very, very, very nitpicky about making sure that every client has outfits that are able to transform and look different. I use a lot of layers, sweaters, scarves, different jewelry. You take off this bracelet, you take off this bracelet, that comes off, that's a look. You put another one back on, that's a new look. Take the sweater off, keep the shirt underneath, that's a look. Shoot it from here, shoot it from there, cover all this stuff. Outfit's not important, it's just hands on a computer or hands working on a phone. The point being is that the versatility and diversity in your image content is not only predicated on your expression, but it is also predicated on your outfits, on the jewelry and accessories, as well as the angle at which I'm shooting, stressing certain things, you know? So there's many ways to skin that cat, and we do. That's what I do.
And when that cat is being skinned,
Yeah.
is it best for him to be skinned in the wintertime, the summertime? Like, is there a good season for skinning the cat?
Skinning the cat, it depends. Answer them questions. I don't know your story, girl. But I will say, in general, it's funny, I just wrote a piece about how to mask the fact that we're in fall in the Northeast, because you want to keep images. There are certain images that, first of all, right off top level, how long are we talking about you want this content to last, number one? Once we establish that, that's a huge parameter for everything else. Because if you want this thing to last for 6 months, we got a buffer of a certain amount of time, and there's a certain amount of things that have to be worked around. Like the other day I shot outside, there were leaves on the ground. This woman doesn't know when she wants to leverage the images. I got rid of those leaves around her feet, and I shot around the leaves in another shot to not show them. Why? Because that's autumn in the Northeast, and it kills the evergreen quality. Some images you want evergreen, that, like, for example, like let's say you're gonna have some kind of meetup, or a meetup, for example. And you don't want to just have a graphic, two-dimensional graphic on the social platforms, on your landing page. It looks great, that's fine. What I offer clients is a bit of more depth in the image. So I'll shoot there holding a tablet, but not showing them, not showing it, just shooting the tablet screen with them holding it. And then later on, they can get a graphic person or themselves, if they know Photoshop or whatever, put that same two-dimensional graphic in there. It looks badass because now it's not just on the screen. It's great. Don't get me wrong, I do it myself, but if I had the opportunity to have my phone and then like put a little like a thing in there, it just looks more, because people's eyes are drawn there, pay more attention to it. But the thing about that is that you have to be cognizant of where you're shooting, at what time of year. Yeah, it's the wintertime in New York. It sucks to shoot outside because you have to wear all these layers. Do I like to do that with my people? Generally, no. I would prefer to have interior locations. Like last winter when I shot a lot in breather spaces. I shot in these kinds of spaces. I shot in a hotel lobby. And we get around the winter time because you don't want to have the big coat. Especially if you're a brand that's, you know, across the country and you're virtual, or you have sales that you're selling all around the world. I don't need to see a coat if I'm in Australia. It's not that it's wrong. It's just that it's adding messages visually that we don't really need to see.
It's harder for them to resonate, right? If they're accessing those photos and they live in, I don't know, Bahamas or
Right. Yeah.
Making it up, and they're not seeing what they are used to see. I think in that person.
Yes.
Type of thing. It's a psychological.
Yes.
Thing.
What it is an impediment to seeing them being that person, living that thing, doing that thing, or being with that person and working with them, because it's just visually like, well, what is, it's obviously they know what it is, but it's just, it's those things that are just pop. It's like, we don't want any of that stuff. We want the message clear, we want it very straightforward, and you want it to be very impactful, and we don't want distraction. So that's, does that answer your question at all? A little bit? Inside during the wintertime, I think. Unless if it's something that works for your brand. That works, yeah, for the families, yeah, for sure. And I think a cute selfie would be just as good as having like a professional shot, because selfies interplay with the high-end magazine quality portraits in a way that makes you human. It makes you more touchable, like you're there, like you're not just some superhero with all these amazing ideas and I'm gonna blow your mind and you're gonna be completely just like so much better off because you're working with me. No, it's, I'm a human and I failed and I know how that feels, and not that particular one, but I'm saying, like, you know, like when you share the struggles, because that's super important too, but you share the wins, you're with your family, that stuff is important too.
Any other questions?
I have a question. You're talking about, you know, about shooting individual. How about product? I want to hear.
I was
what you
waiting
say
for that
about
actually, because we have product people here.
This product has no feeling. It's just
Right.
there. So how can you actually make it stand
But
out?
people use your product, don't they?
Yeah. So you have to tie in.
You don't have to. No, chopsticks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I would do with chopsticks. Here's my quick, I'm brainstorming with you. We need different colored hands holding the chopsticks, working with different types of food, different types of bowls, different backgrounds. We're working with families. We're gonna work, who's your target audience?
I've been doing a lot of wholesale, so to hotels and restaurants. My next target is actually individuals.
Okay, now we're talking. Now we're in a conversation. Because when we're talking individuals, that means, like I said, different types of people, different types of hands. I'm just thinking hands, but then we broaden the shot out, and then we see families. We see different people enjoying the product.
So it's not necessarily a macro your shot.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get those badass shots too. Come on, I love that shit.
That might just
It's important.
because B2B don't care.
No, you need to.
B2B, they don't care.
No,
Right,
but
so the B2C
B2C does care. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Because once you're with a consumer,
It's different. You need to tell a story.
it's not about getting them here. It's about getting them here. You don't get them up here.
That's right.
You're not going to win that. You'll win them here though. And then you could do different types of video strategy with that as well. You can have people talk. It's content marketing. That's that piece. But with the visual, with the stills, we need some restaurants, we need some people, we need some ramen noodles up in here is what we need. We need to make that happen.
Or you can do a contest on Instagram where people, I know it's not a photography, but people will share the way they use
Absolutely.
the chopstick.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like getting because when it's consumers, it's heart. It's getting to people and endear yourselves to them. It's the same thing as, other people who have, like me, I have a service. I don't have a product, but I'm still tugging at the same emotional strings as you are. And in fact, it's just as important for you because it's an inanimate object. Like I'm working with people. It's like a layup compared to working with stuff that's not talking back. It's different. But what's important about it is showing how it helps, it helps the experience with the people that use it.
Can you somehow, between B2B and B2C, can you actually marry them together in a way?
I don't have too much experience with the B2B world. I'm work with people.
Because B2B world, it's all about cost. It's all about price. It's all about how, you can deliver the best product at the lowest cost. But,
right.
That's
well,
B2B.
If it's a high margin, depending if your product is high margin, sometimes B2B is about the quality of the service and how you're going to deliver and getting rid of their migraines as you're delivering. So it depends on the market for B2B.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can test it out, right?
Do you have Instagram?
Well, not the wholesale, but my e-commerce is next year.
I
haven't started yet.
Okay.
On the e-commerce, on the individual yet.
Right. I would say that if you're doing the e-com thing, you're going after people. You building this brand around that in terms of the, like I said, the heart of it. Does that mean you're not going to have product shots? Of course not. We need awesome product shots too. They need to be pretty. We need to show off because you're going to be telling stories not about just what it does for, how it affects people's lives. You're also going to be telling the story about how it was made, the process of it. What are the materials? Give people a reason to want to invest in you, in your business, in your brand, in yourself. And you talk about these things and you get those nice, cool detail shots. You even get them being made. Like I would shoot them being made.
Their stories.
Exactly. And then the other thing about that is you can tie in those process with stories of how these are being used by people. And it's like, boom, you got that piece, bringing it together, that's your story. And those, and there's many wrinkles and nuances to this based on, what little I know, but you can at least start there. And all of a sudden you have days and weeks and months of content. If you really think about it.
It's the days and months and months.
That's a good thing.
You need to keep creating.
I know, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing because it's what gets you out there. Don't look at it like as if it's like the worst thing. If it's something that you don't want to do and you don't want to do it, don't do it. Get someone else to do it. That's it. Don't do it. But if it's something that you have some form of interest, I would suggest before you find someone else, you have to start it yourself and you have to work with someone that you trust that's going to get what you need. But once you have that process and system in place of knowing how to put together, I'm going to write this amount of blogs and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to post here and do that. Okay, get it all down and then you teach someone else to do it. or find someone that's going to take it and take it to the next level and go better. But the idea is that, give it a crack first.
So basically, every product should have a little bit of a background.
Absolutely.
Story, so that it makes it a little
More than one.
Yeah.
More than one. 365 days a year. It's a lot of stuff.
a lot of chopsticks.
It's a lot of people that use chopsticks.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
the one thing that I would say, aside from the visual, content branding aspect of it, like I suggested try the same thing. But if you never listen to Steve Chu's podcast, have you ever heard of Steve Chu? His podcast name, the title of the podcast is really funny. My Wife Quit Her Job podcast, and it's he and his wife sell handkerchiefs.
Oh.
They import their stuff from, China, and the wedding handkerchiefs, and that's a low margin, right? That's a low margin product, but he does phenomenal in the e-commerce space. So I suggest you listen to that, not for the visual side of things, but there's a lot that goes
That's
into
awesome. Yeah.
that business.
Yep.
That service-based business don't have to deal with it. So that's if you're dealing with wholesalers and B2Bs right now, and if you're getting into e-commerce, that's a whole another world out there, right? Right? So you're gonna have to do a lot of work. A lot of work. It's
But
not gonna be the same.
I got some fun ideas I can share with you later. I'm thinking. It's going. It's not stopped. It doesn't stop. It never stops. Yeah. I've shot chopsticks for video. I haven't done photos yet. We'll light some stuff up with that.
More questions? Any other questions?
Do you get insights on their conversions and all the other metrics after qualities?
Again, I don't really know that much of the piece of the pie. I'm more about giving them the assets they need in order to get those conversions. Yeah, I'm step one of that phase, and then they're a social media strategist or themselves or whatever. Then it's giving them the artillery, and they go fire it away, kind of thing. Yeah. I'm gonna use that metaphor again. I like that. Never, yeah. Visual guy, yeah. That's what I do.
If you guys don't you guys can just hang out, and you may have some specific questions.
I'm here. I'm in the fuzzy chair.
Maybe you guys might be waiting for that.
You just need a
My
beer.
fuzzy chair.
Yeah, you just need a beer.
Yeah, it's all right that you're.
I gotta get another beer. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, we can break out.
Yeah, that'd be great. Oh, thank you. Thank you.